Good morning all of you. Now I am going to discuss about the unit 2. That is unit 2 deals with data transmission, telemetry and DAS. This data transmission under under this the syllabus under this unit is methods of data transmission. Under this methods of data transmission, one is the telemetry system that we will discuss now. And next, frequency modulation telemetry system, pulse modulation, pulse amplitude modulation, pulse code modulation telemetry system, and comparison of all these telemetry systems. And next one, analog and digital data acquisition systems, that is the DAS, digital data acquisition system. Components of analog DAS, types of multiplexing systems, time division and frequency division multiplexing. Digital DAS, under digital DAS, the block diagram of digital DAS, and with some few changes, modern digital DAS is also introduced. So this is about the syllabus in the second unit. Under the first topic, data transmission. What is the meaning of this data transmission? So transmission means you need to transfer the data from one location to other location. It's called nothing but the transmission. So it can be of any form. It can be of any form. So if you transfer liquids, there is one form of data transmission. For gases, another one. For liquids, solids, other one. And for data, there is other. So in any way, you need to transfer the data. That is nothing but the data transmission. So data transmission is the process of sending digital or analog data over a communication medium to one or more computing network communication or electronic devices. So digital or analog data is sent over to other device through a communication medium. It enables the transfer and communication of devices in a point-to-point or point-to-multipoint or multipoint to multipoint environment. So in these three ways you can transfer the data. Under this digital data transmission, what are the different methods of data transmission? Or for liquids, if you transmit the liquid, that is called hydraulic transmission. If it is dealing with for gases, then it is called pneumatic transmission. And for transferring data, then it is called electrical and electronics transmission. So this third one is nothing but the for data which we are using, it is nothing but the telemetry system. Under the telemetry system, what is the meaning of telemetry? Telemetry means you need to transmit the data from an inaccessible location. That means there will be some amount of remote locations where to that place we cannot go there and collect the data. So for that purpose, what we will do is we will transfer the data from that remote location to the location which we are, and so that the data is transferred without losing any data from the remote location to our location. It is nothing but the telemetry. This is transferred by using a telemetry channel, that is through some specific medium. So that is called telemetry system. So telemetry means it is a technology which allows user to collect information from the inaccessible and to transmit to accessible places to process the information. So that means from the remote location you will be collecting the data. After collecting the data, that is transferred to the accessible location, to the location where all the users are available and who can process the data are there. So that transmit to the accessible places and that data can be processed. Okay, this is about the telemetry system. And what is the block diagram of this telemetry system is, it is having these number of blocks. First one is measuring, second one is primary sensing element, telemeter transmitter, telemeter channel, telemeter receiver and end device. So measuring means it is the variable which you need to measure. Is the variable which you need to measure, like current or voltage which you need to measure. So that is the measurement. That measurement is given to the primary sensing element. So primary sensing element, what does it does is, it will sense the measurement. It will sense the measurement. That means it will sense the current or voltage. After sensing, it needs to be, that means these two are at the remote location, are at the inaccessible location. From here, it is to be transmitted. So for that you need a transmitter. So telemetry transmitter will transmit the data which has been detected here. That information is transmitted through a telemeter channel. So this is the telemetry medium through which from the transmitter to receiver you can transmit the data. So channel is the route through which the data is to be transmitted. Next, telemetry receiver. This telemetry receiver will be at the receiving end. Will be at the receiving end. That means it is at the accessible location. So from that accessible location, the data is received and that is given to the end device. That is given to the final device for which you can manipulate that data. Okay, this is the general telemetry system. That means, so for the data, how the data is going to transmit from the inaccessible location to the accessible location is called the telemetry system. So we can discuss one by one here. So primary detector means it detects the information about the measurement. It detects the information about the measurement. Telemeter transmitter means it converts output of the primary detector into electrical signal and transmit to telemeter channel. So it will convert the output of the detector into electrical signal and it transmit to the telemetry channel. So what does this telemetry channel does? It transmits the information to the receiver. It transmits the information to the receiver. And telemeter receiver, what does it does? It converts the signal into usable form by the end device. It converts the signal into usable form by the end device. That is the telemetry receiver. And these are the main requirements of a telemetry system. One is primary detector. Next, after detecting, you need a transmitter. After that, you need a channel. After that, you need a receiver. From that, any device it is going to be connected. Types of telemetry system. Okay, depending on the distance, these telemetry systems are classified into two types. That is, one is a landline telemetry system, and the other one is radio frequency telemetry system. So, landline telemetry system means, so landline means you will be using a wired connection. So previously there were, before the mobile phones, you will be having the landline phones. So in that case, what is there, from our phone to the end phone, there is a cable connected. There is a cable connected. So that means there is a wired connection, cable connection, from which you can transmit the data. Likewise, in this telemetry system also, whatever you need to transmit the data from the accessible location to the inaccessible location to the accessible location, there is the cable connected. So that is the landline telemetry system. But the drawback is it requires more amount of wire, more amount of cables required. So that means it is this is this is very costly, and also if any problem occurs in any point of the cable, it is very difficult to locate. So and the advantages are here, the data is properly transmitted without any use of data. Okay, that is in the so this is it is used only for the small range. So that means from 15 meters to some 10 kilometers, like that only. Next, radio frequency telemetry system. This radio frequency telemetry system is, it can be used for longer distances also. So from 10 kilometers to 15 kilometers, 50 kilometers, like that also this will be used. But here there is no requirement of the cable. That is about the radio frequency telemetry system. Coming to the landline telemetry system, this landline telemetry system, it is nothing but the direct transmission of information through cables and transmission lines. So here it requires cables or transmission lines for the data to be transmitted. And here the distances till which it can transmit is 15 meters to 1 kilometer. 15 meters to 1 kilometer. And the different types of landline telemetry system are: one is voltage telemetry, second one is current telemetry, and the third one is position telemetry. So we can observe here voltage telemetry means the data will be transmitted in the form of voltage, that is called voltage telemetry, and if the data is transmitted in the form of current, then it is called current telemetry, and if the data is transmitted in terms of position, then it is called position telemetry. So coming to the first one, voltage telemetry system. Voltage telemetry system. So as we have already discussed, if in a telemetry system, there will be a transmitting terminal and there is a receiving terminal. This transmitting terminal is located at the inaccessible location, that is at the remote location, whereas here receiving terminal is located at the accessible location. So that means the information is collected here. Suppose here you are using a Borden tube here. So whenever the pressure changes, here it is connected to the pressure. So whenever pressure changes, there in the Borden tube there is a C section. C section will be there. So whenever the pressure changes, what happens is this C section expands. This C section expands, and so that the pointer will be moving. So this is connected to the rheostat variable terminal. So this slide wire gets moved over the rheostat. This is the slide wire. This will be moving over the rheostat. And this rheostat is connected to a battery here. This rheostat is connected to a battery here. So whenever this variable point is moved because of the Borden tube, what happens is there is some amount of change in the resistance. Further, as the resistance changes, the voltage also will change. The voltage also will change. So that corresponding voltage is transmitted over the telemetry channel. Telemetry channel, and it is connected to the AND device. This is the AND device from where you can note down the reading here. This is the reading which you can observe here. Okay, there is a pointer here so that it will indicate on the scale. Okay, so the requirements for this voltage telemetry system are: first one is telemetry transmitter, telemetry receiver. Under the transmitter, you need a battery, a rheostat, a Borden tube. And in the receiver, you need a potentiometer scale calibrated in kilonewton per meter square. And in between these two, you need a channel here. You need a channel to transmit the data. So in the transmitting terminal, whenever you want to transmit the voltage, if there is a change in pressure, it detects a change in pressure, the Borden tube will move the slide wire. It will move the slide wire over the rheostat, so that in proportion the voltage will be changing. That voltage is indicated in the here at the end device. That is about the voltage telemetry system. Next one is current telemetry system. So it is also similar to the voltage telemetry system, but here the only the change is the potentiometer position and the battery position. So here it is the data is transmitted in the form of a current. So whatever the pressure which is to be measured, it is given to the Borden tube. When it is given, this Borden tube actuates and it expands. It will expand and it will move the slider here. This is the slider and this is the potentiometer. So whenever this slider moves over this potentiometer, what happens is the current varies. The current will vary. As the current is varied, that current is transmitted over the telemetry channel and it is given to the ammeter, connected to the ammeter, which will show you the reading. It will show you the reading. So, and the requirements for this current telemetry system are: one is the transmitting end, the other one is the receiving end. In the transmitting end, there is a battery, potentiometer, and also the ammeter. And in between these two, transmitter and receiver, you will be having a telemetry channel. You will be having a telemetry channel. So, in this current telemetry system, the output is in the form of current, so it is called current telemetry system. If the output form is in the form of voltage, then it is called voltage telemetry system. And it is in the form of position, then it is called position telemetry system. So these are all the types of the different types of landline telemetry system. So under the landline telemetry system, there are three types of landline telemetry system. One is voltage telemetry, current telemetry, position telemetry. If it is based on voltage, then it is called voltage telemetry system. If it is based on current, then it is called current telemetry system. And if it is based on position, then it is called position telemetry system. This is about the landline telemetry system. So in the next class we shall discuss about the radio frequency telemetry.